Hey there, friends! What's happening? My name is Rabbit, and welcome to episode 161 of Let's Play Jade Cocoon 2, where we are knocking out some of the bonus content here in the post-game. Although technically we haven't quite made it to the new Earth Forest, the level 5 Earth Forest, because we are still making our long journey through the previous Earth areas so we can see any cutscenes that need to unfold before our eyes, just to establish relationships and blah blah blah. And it was actually a good idea because we've had a lot of dialogue exchanges between the Sweet Knights and Kahu, and we've gotten a couple new eggs from various beast hunters. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. And also, our last episode was over half an hour long because I am a little bit salty about people's expectations and the fact that humans drive me nuts, you guys, and people say they understand you and they want to be friends with you, but they really don't care.
Hey, it's Kahu. Take me on in battle.
No. No!
Again? All the time. A beast hunter does not turn down a battle.
Come on, Choco. I feel like we just fought you. Maybe we haven't, but I feel like we have relatively recently.
Here goes. All right, what shall I do?
Oh man, her team looks hella scary. Well, we're not gonna play too many fucking games with her. I think I'm gonna start with this Steel Wall book. But yeah, anyway, so my apologies for ranting a bit in our last episode, but I was sharing with you guys that Andrew and I often talk about human nature and kind of what lays the foundation for who or what influences what direction you go in, and what makes you you, I guess is the simple way of putting it. And we already know quite a bit of what shaped me and kind of why I've become the person I am, but we often just kind of jokingly and whimsically entertain the notion and the idea that, well, what if I could change? And what would it take to change me into being a bit more extroverted? Because Andrew is exceptionally gregarious and he loves partying. He's just very feisty, I think is a way to put it, where he likes social interactions. He, as extreme on the spectrum as I am in introversion, he is the polar opposite in extroversion. So we're quite I would say a fascinating pair in that we don't complement each other well in that regard, because I would much rather be home and watching a documentary, holding one of my guinea pigs or playing with my birds, and he would rather be out at a party. So this whole holiday party thing, Andrew would definitely have gone. And for him, it would have been a bonus that, oh, there are going to be more people. It's not just the three of us. You, Nancy, your little stupid assistant Beth, and me. Holler. Let's get down. What can I bring to the party? But that is not me. I thought there would be just the three of us. Maybe someone's husband, but to hear that there was gonna be this huge group of people, and we're not even gonna be in town so that I can leave when I want, we're gonna all be carpooling up there, I don't think so. It's not my idea of a good time, you guys, and I feel like this is so stupid and childish that I should even need to justify my position on this. This is who I am. I could even understand feeling perplexed and frustrated if I've always pretended to be something else, but I don't do that. I've never done that. I feel like every time I meet someone, even probably more than I need to when talking to you guys and I'm explaining stories, I feel like I open with the anchor that I'm introverted and hey, this is gonna set the tone for my perspective on this. And even in talking to people, I anchor a lot of my conversations with that. It is the foundation of who I am and why I operate in a lot of the ways that I do. And I think the first problem is that people really do, they correlate introversion with negative attitude, I think. At least that's been my interpretation, that some people, they're oh, introverted, that means you don't like people. Or it's not just negative attitude. I think the other one is shyness. And so when I tell people I'm introverted, a popular response that I get from people is, you can't be introverted. You're not shy at all. Or you're a teacher. Or you do public speaking events at expos and conferences. You can't be introverted. And it's can you guys just get a dictionary? Because introverted is not the same thing as fucking shy. I never said I was shy. I will never ever say I'm shy. I'm the opposite of shy. Like, I am the person that if you needed me to right now, I could go up and ad-lib a fucking speech. Like, it wouldn't be a good speech, but I truly do believe that I have the gift of gab where tell me what you fucking need and I can say it and do it, and I'll do it with confidence even if it's, I'm not prepared for it. But with my disposition and nature, I would even say that I do believe in transparency. And even with my students, if there's something that I think doesn't make sense that's in the curriculum or that I don't agree with, I have been known to actually say it. I will tell my students, like, hey, this section I personally don't know if I agree with, so don't be offended. Try to have an open mind. And I think it's important, at least in terms of supporting your own points and perspectives on things, to understand opposing arguments. There you go. I fucking gave you my opinion, and I anchored the topic with the understanding that this is kind of my stance and this is how I'm approaching it, and I just need you to take a second to be a little open-minded and think about it as well as you're hearing this information. I think that means so much to people, and I know it means a lot to me, transparency. So I am that way even in talking about who I am with friends or even with strangers. Like, if it comes up and it feels like a natural way to progress the conversation, I don't think there's anyone who would tell you in my interactions with them that they weren't made aware that I'm an introvert. Like, I've come to recognize this far into my life that you have to tell people this, or they're going to almost always assume the worst about you, that you're a snooty, that you're a bitch, that you're not actually as kind as they thought you were because you don't want to come to their stupid fucking party. Like, I don't know, just people are crazy. Like, yeah, I was telling you guys how there was even a baby shower, and I didn't want to go to the baby shower, and I told the girl up front, I was like, I have too much going on right now. I'm not gonna lie to you, I just don't feel like with all of my current commitments that your baby shower is a priority. And I know for some people, like, damn, Rabbit, did you have to be that transparent with the bitch? Yeah, okay, I could sugarcoat some things, and I do certain things. Like, I don't go out of my way to piss people off or hurt their feelings, but I would want someone to tell me why they're not coming to my baby shower, especially if I cared enough to invite them. I mean, don't be an asshole and say, like, no, I really don't like you and I don't give a fuck about you or the things that you do or this baby that's in your belly. Don't give a fuck. Don't say that shit to me, because, yeah, then we're not going to be friends anymore. But, if you came up to me and said, like, Rabbit, I've got so much going on right now at home. Like, I'm still struggling a little bit, and I just, with everything on my plate right now, I don't know if I have the energy to pretend to be happy at a baby shower in front of a group of people. Like, yeah, that's going to be hard to hear because I want you there, but as a good friend, I'm going to understand.
Just getting started.
So I just expect that same courtesy from people, and I feel like I almost never fucking get. Okay, these guys really need to stop bringing things back because it's getting a little old. Not gonna lie, Choco, getting a wee bit old. So I just, with this girl with the baby shower, I told her up front, I was like, I'm not coming, but I bought you some diapers, girl. I bought you some diapers. And she laughed at me and she said, like, that's a very practical gift. She said, how very like you. And I wouldn't say this girl and I are really good friends, but I gotta give her credit. She gets who I am, whether she likes it or not. And maybe she was mad that I didn't go to the baby shower, but at least she had the decency to acknowledge, like, I get that this is just who you are. Thank you so much for telling me. And thank you still for getting me a gift. And, like, we're fine. But I don't get with, like, this Nancy Beth situation. Nancy texting me all this passive-aggressive bullshit about basically implying, like, fine, if we're going to do something, we're just going to let you pick when and you pick where so that you'll actually commit to it and show up. Like, fuck you. How dare you make those implications? Like, I don't owe you a fucking thing. Period. Like, I get it. You've been really kind to me and you've been wonderful, and I acknowledge that, and I equally acknowledge my own fault in this, in that I did not ask 2 weeks ago when you invited me to do this who all was going and what it was for. That was my bad. I never should have assumed that it was just going to be the three of us. I don't think it was wrong for me to make that assumption, but I can acknowledge that it was a mistake. At least, like, a subjective one.
You can't beat me so easily.
Girl, you got one thing left, and, like, he's not going to be able to make a difference for you. I'm sorry. I love you, Choco, but it's a wrap for you. Just saying. So anyway, that's all of that. That's another rant from Rabbit. Just that, God, this is precisely why I can't be bothered with a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people are very self-driven in their kindness, or their intentions behind things are not just out of the goodness of their own heart. And as wonderful as Nancy is, I think she's one of those people.
Kahu, you're strong. I lost today.
You sure did. Why did you waste my fucking time, Choco? So anyway, that's where we're at. As mad as I am about it, I don't know, y'all.
Thanks for today. I'm trying lots of things to get stronger.
Great. I actually don't care, Choco. I only fought you because you made me. So it is kind of what it is. But anyway, I guess to conclude all of this, as hurt and frustrated and angry, if I may be so direct, as I am about all of this, you know what? I told her my availability, and I said, you know what? I'm really fine with anything. If I'm going to see you two, I'd rather just be you two and there not be an expectation that I entertain a group of people that I'm probably not even going to know, because she's had such high turnover. And I don't even want to get into all of that, because I try to separate who someone is as a business owner and who they are as a person, because I know I wouldn't necessarily want people to judge me based on like research that I have to do. Like, it's a job. Like, I might not agree with certain things, but I'll do it as long as it's not hurting someone else and it doesn't really affect my core morals or values. Like, I definitely have too much integrity to where I wouldn't do a job or do something that went strongly against my beliefs. But me not agreeing with something it's not necessarily, oh my God, these like heal for nothing, but I guess that's good. We'll use them all up. But me not agreeing with something doesn't necessarily mean that the other thing is wrong. It just could be a matter of different perspectives and opinions. And I feel like people don't know how to separate that. And I know I've talked about that before, so I won't belabor this topic, but I really feel like a lot of people struggle with that. And they feel like, well, if I don't like something or if I disagree with something, then that means it's wrong or it's horrible. And it's like, no, it might be wrong for you. And maybe it doesn't make sense in your reality. But I think part of being a good person is having a level of empathy to where you can understand how someone might make a choice that's different from yours. Even if objectively that choice is still kind of bad. Like, I would never recommend that somebody have 10 kids that they can't take care of. But I know that life is hard and that sometimes we do things that we don't necessarily mean, and not all of us had the same level of guidance from our parents or family members as others. And I understand that. And I think while those are not excuses for someone being a piece of shit and ruining someone else's life, I think as an empathetic person, it provides some level of understanding as to why that person did that. And that's the piece that I feel like I just don't see in a lot of other people. And if I can just be honest with you guys, I think that plays a lot into my introversion as well. I do strongly believe, so coming back full circle to my conversation with Andrew and, you know, our hypothetical question as to like what could change this part of my nature, and is there a way I could ever become a little more extroverted and enjoy the company of groups of people or multiple people at once. And I think the thing that would do it for me would be if I found a group of people that genuinely loved each other and that I think embodied traits that made me feel like I could tell them anything and I wasn't going to be judged for it, or even if they judged the act itself, it wouldn't negatively impact how they interact with me or how they talk about me and those sorts of things. Like, I don't know, if you don't trust people or you feel like you can't really respect them because you don't know what they're doing or saying about you, I just think like that's not a good foundation for a relationship. And it's not worth it to me. It's just absolutely not. Resurrect costs 1 shield. Oh yeah, I forgot about these. It might be a good idea to pick up 1. I think this is actually worth it. I will grab 1. I don't know if it's worth the money, but I'm going to pick it up. Yeah, whatever. Fuck off, bro. I'm actually kind of glad that he's in here. It's made a little bit of a difference. We've picked up some shit, sold it. It's a luxury we don't really have in the areas where it's the storage guy, just because, I mean, I've got so much shit in storage. I can't just throw shit in there anymore. I've got to be a little cognizant of what I'm choosing to hold on to. So I share all of that with you guys just to say I'm a little frustrated, even though technically, like, it's going to be fine. It's not a big deal. And I'm going to be honest, as terrible as this is to say, if Nancy and Beth just decided, like, you know what, we don't think you're worth investing in anymore, Rabbit, I am not going to be upset about it. And I know that's a weird thing to confess, but I actually would be a little relieved, because it'd be like, you know, y'all are great people, but you're not the kind of people I think that make good friends for me, and I support your decision to do what's best for you guys. And if I create too much drama and frustration for you because you see my introversion as being me not wanting to be your friend, or as me being inconsistent, which I still think it's ridiculous for them to ever jump to that conclusion, but whatever, fine. If that is where they're at in their feelings and thoughts about me, then it probably is better for us to not talk. Like, I am not going to hold it against you if you don't want to have a casual relationship with me. Remove me from your payroll, because I'm not doing any more per diem work for you, and let's not talk anymore. Or if we do talk, maybe it should just be isolated to you asking if I want to come in and cover 2 education hours that are in the contract that you signed, or whatever that was given to you. Fine, let's just leave it at that. I don't know why people feel like, again, coming back to a conversation we had a few episodes ago that Choco and Cinnamon had regarding, like, 2 people being in a room and feeling like they have to talk. Like, just because we know each other kind of personally, it doesn't mean we have to be friends, and it doesn't mean we have to hang out, and it doesn't mean we have to fucking talk when we're in the same room together. I can 100% go over to the office, set up my classroom, boot up my PowerPoint, teach everyone, fill out my per diem time card, hand it in, say thanks for everything, let me know if you get any more hours, this is my availability, and roll on out. And to me, that's not a bad thing, and it wouldn't negatively impact my ability to function there. But for Nancy and Beth, they would be upset about it, because they feel like, she's so snooty, like she didn't want to stay and get coffee and talk for 5 hours. Like, no, that's not me. And I'm not saying it's wrong that you're that way, but for you to want to change who I am, or for you to expect me to be like you when I made it clear from the start that I'm not like you, that I do have a problem with, and it's just not going to work long term. So I don't know, you guys. I'm so incredibly frustrated by this entire situation, and I don't know. Like, I just don't know. I was talking to another friend about it this morning, actually, and I was even asking her, like, maybe should I have been a bit more aggressive in my response and told her that, you know, I don't really appreciate the implication here, and this is my choice. If I don't really want to be at a party, I apologize profusely for seemingly letting you down and for changing the plan if there was something else at work here that I just wasn't aware of. Because like I even said to you guys, I guess there is a chance that maybe she booked a certain number of spots, and maybe she got a gift for me. I don't know. And oh my gosh, do you guys hear that? I feel like someone's phone out in the hallway is going off. That's a little bit weird, but anyway, so there's that. And I just feel like I don't owe someone a change in my personality just because you don't necessarily like who it is that I am. And I will try to accommodate you to a certain extent, but I need that same level of respect back as well, where you can at least understand where I'm coming from and try to see it from my perspective. And that this is a part of it, guys, where unless I find people that can be more objective and more logical, maybe I need to just hang around more men and more people that are in science, like STEM fields, because I feel like a lot of women, they're just so crazy and emotional and illogical sometimes, and not necessarily in their work, but just in how they approach things. And it's not just women. I've met as many men, if not more, actually, thinking about my friend groups, that have been kind of like crazy too. So I don't even think it's like a gender specific or sex specific thing. I think people are just nuts. And that is why, long story short, children, as we close this storybook, I think that is why I will probably forever be an introvert unless I find a group of people that can be as objective as I feel like I am and be as logical as I feel like I do a really good job of being myself, regardless of how I personally feel about a choice that's being made. So anyway, thanks for listening to me rant. I will not let this episode be 30 minutes like our last one. So when we come back together in video number 162, we will make our way through Barren Earth. And I'm guessing in our next episode, we might be able to knock out this level 4 forest, which means hopefully by 163, we should be ready for the new level 5 forest. So we will see. Fingers crossed. Thanks as always for your patience as we navigate through the bonus content here in Jade Cocoon 2's postgame. My name is Rabbit, and I look forward to seeing you shortly, my friends.